So we are on air and we are live.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Rani, for contacting me to do this.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. It's really it's a nice thing to do on a Saturday morning
It
because
is.
yeah, it will be very energizing. I'm sure it's going to be very energizing throughout the week.
No, it is. It also was energizing the previous week when we were talking and we were discussing what
I
to do
know.
and how
Yeah,
it's going. And it was
true,
great.
true. Yeah, yeah. So, so nice. I mean, quite some number of people have already joined. So we will, I think we'll just get started. So hi, Isha. Good morning. Kavita. Hi. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. This is a lovely morning in Chennai, at least. I'm not sure where
Yeah,
everyone is signing in from, but we had a
yeah.
bit of rain and now we have a bit and some sunshine. So it's
I know. It's nice. So our co-founder Rajni is also joined. So she is around. So let's get started, I guess. So I'm going to take my first 5 minutes introducing the webinar and introducing our speaker today. And I'll also tell you how the structure of today's webinar is going to be. We want to close it in 60 minutes so that everybody can get on with all their weekend chores and the fun time, right? So let me first start with the formal introduction and let's get going, right?
sure thing.
Okay. So, actually, in our quest to connect with educational institutions and their alumni in search of our prospective members, is when we met Nishani. We were surprised to find a young and energetic woman as the executive director of the IIT Madras Alumni Association. Her zest for life and enthusiasm was very infectious and caught our attention. The rest is history. So it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest speaker for today's webinar on women leadership, Ms. Nishani Manohar. Nishani Manohar's journey is marked not only by her profound commitment to her profession, but also by her dedication to lifelong learning and personal growth. She firmly believes in the power of collaboration and networking, which have been pivotal in her journey so far. And her passion for turning her dreams into reality fuels her excitement about what the future holds, which has equipped her with the knowledge and skills to excel in her leadership roles. So here goes. To start with, the Bachelor of Arts in Art and Art Studies, earned from the National Institute of Fashion Technology in India in 2006, enriched her understanding of the arts and creativity. Nishani further expanded her expertise with a program in styling and fashion and apparel design at Naba Nua Academia di Belle Arti. I hope I pronounced that right.
Just Naba.
It's Naba. Okay. Okay. She also gained valuable knowledge in photography through a summer program at Santa Fe University of Art and Design. And then she pivoted into the field of higher education through a postgraduate certificate in higher education from Nottingham Trent University in 2012, specializing in higher education, master's degree in education from the prestigious University College London, awarded in ability to bridge the gap between creativity and education in her career. Nishani also brings a wealth of professional experience. She began her professional journey at Pearl Academy. Her extensive tenure of 9 years as a course leader for both undergrad and postgrad courses exemplifies her dedication to education and leadership. For the next few years, Nishani led a department at Image Infotainment Limited, showcasing her ability to take on key roles with organizations and drive positive change. She went on to serve as the Chief of Operations at Atelier 5. Her role showcased her commitment to leadership in a professional setting. Nishani then worked as a program consultant at the Albex Group, co heading workshops in India. This experience highlighted her ability to coordinate and lead projects. Nishani holds the position of Executive Director at IIT Madras Alumni Associations since November 2021, where she has actively contributed to the growth and development of the association. Her role involves overseeing and leading initiatives related to community development, showcasing her dedication to creating positive changes. Nishani's diverse and extensive professional background, combined with her educational qualifications, underscores her as a multifaceted and accomplished leader with a deep commitment to community development and education. All these make her the perfect guest speaker for our webinar today. She will share her invaluable insights on the challenges women face in leadership positions, the strategies to overcome them, and the limitless potential that women bring to the table. We are truly fortunate to have you, Nishani, with us today. And I encourage all those who are here as viewers to listen attentively as she answers our questions. Do post your questions and engage in a meaningful dialogue with her during this webinar. Her journey and her knowledge will undoubtedly inspire and empower each other in our quest to promote women's leadership. Today's session will be in two parts. The first 30 to 40 minutes will be interaction between the speaker and me, the moderator. The last 20-30 minutes will be open for audience questions. Please do post your questions in the Q&A section. Please do locate that. Anybody has any doubt, you can put it in the chat box and one of our team members will answer that for you. We also have a live YouTube broadcast. We shall be answering questions from there too. So without further ado, I invite Nishani Manohar to share her insights and experiences with us. We are eager to hear your words of wisdom, Nishani. Thank you for being here with us today. So shall I shoot my first question or would you like to respond?
I would like to respond. Thank you so much, Rani, for that wonderful introduction. It feels very nice to hear about yourself from somebody else. Normally, you're talking your own history, right, all the time,
Yeah.
the people you meet. But thank you so much for the warm welcome. And we can proceed with your questions. Thank you.
Okay. My first question, which I've been like dying to ask, is fashion designed to higher education. Why?
Right.
Nishani, are you there? Okay.
Hi, sorry about that.
No worries, no worries.
I just lost power at home, so I had to
No
connect
worries.
my hotspot.
Okay.
Right, yeah. So we'll move on. This is a question that I've been asked multiple times, and sometimes I'm also judged for this.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I'm also judged from how did you do this and why did you do this. But move from fashion to education is actually, I call it a transformation. And I have transformed my career and I've evolved as a person with this transformation. I thoroughly enjoy fashion. I thoroughly enjoyed studying and working in fashion as well. But as life moved on, I landed up a job in teaching art and design. Um, right. So and as soon as I landed up that job, I completely teaching. It's an ongoing learning process. If you have to teach Gen Z today, you have to be an ongoing learner. You know what you learned back in the day or what you knew from history is very different from what's happening today, right? So I think in that job, I happened to become a constant learner to be able to deliver my course to the students and win their confidence as well, right? So I think so while I did that, I ended up getting a certification from the Nottingham Trent University, which is again in delivering higher education courses and education management, so on and so forth. And from there, I started to like research, writing. I started to like what to go in to dive deep into understand what education really is, from a global perspective. And I enrolled myself in a master's in education from UCL in the UK. And it was a fantastic experience. I think that just changed my perspective of things. At the same time that I was evolving with my job and my profession and my education, there's also something that came across the whole world is this fact called sustainability,
Hmm.
right? And fashion is the highest contributor to an unsustainable world today that we live in. So that also got to me. And, hence I thought that the time had come, right, to pivot from fashion to something more. Something that I feel passionate about. I feel for the planet. I feel for a greener place. I feel that we need to leave this place a better place for our future generations, and I think things just fell into place, and hence this pivot transformation, in my journey. But I still enjoyed every job of mine. I still learned a lot from every job and every role, and I'm still doing that today as well here at IIT Madras Alumni Association.
Awesome, awesome, Nishani. It sounds like a calling. Like, for example, I'm a chartered accountant and I have been an industrialist in manufacturing for 25 to 30 years. Now that's a question. People are, you be a chartered accountant and you did this, and okay, that story is for another day. But it just happens, right? And if you're enjoying what you're doing and you feel very connected, that's all that matters. And you're able to make a difference and add value. You know, so it's great. I mean, it's so nice. So it's absolutely fine to pivot if you, as long as you find your calling, as long as you're enjoying it, right?
No, it's
So
absolutely fine. I think it's all depending on what you want to do and what you're passionate about, uh,
exactly.
right?
Absolutely. So my next question is for the many audience that are here today, many of the people who have signed up for this, registered for this webinar. I'm sure is interested to know the answer for this question. Is see, after a career break, most women have a career break. Many of us are not sure if we should pivot to something else, and if at all we have to, how to go about it, because we don't know whether we can do what we used to do before anymore, right? Evolving life circumstances. But you have done it very seamlessly, right? So please share your thoughts on this pivot. And as we have many women who are ready to return to work after a career break, today there are many women here who are actually in on their journey to getting back to work after a break. So pivoting is something that many of them may have to be doing. And so if you can share your thoughts on this, and also, did you have a career break, and how was it, and how did you manage it?
Sure. So, Rani, let me tell you, you used words called seamless, easy, um, but it was not seamless and easy.
Okay.
Now when I look back,
Hmm.
it's all right, but at that point you do get confused.
Hmm.
It's very normal to get confused whether what should I do, what should I study, what kind of a job should I look for, and it takes a lot. It is at the back of your head there's a lot of thinking that you should do, because I believe that you are the planner of your life, right? You need to design your life. You have the power to do exactly what you want your life to be, right? So when you sit down, we're juggling lots of roles, and sometimes we need to take breaks for our own self, for our families, even for your mental health at times, because some jobs can really lead to burnout as well.
Absolutely.
So it's absolutely fine to take that break, but what is most important is to understand how you can bounce back, right?
Hmm.
And I had a career break, and bouncing back, I thought it would be simple, but it was not, right? I quit my job with the Atelier 5 in the midst of COVID. right?
Oh, wow.
Thinking, yes,
Okay.
right? Varied reasons, but thinking that I will get another role more specifically that suited my background in education, because I'd also finished my master's at then. I thought that this was the right time to look for something else. And let me tell you, looking for jobs today is not as easy as sending an email and receiving an interview, right? Every job wants to know more about you, and they give you all sort of tests and assignments, which can get overwhelming and challenging, right? But there is a way out. We have something called the internet today, right? And you can find answers to everything. You can even find
Yeah,
answers to
absolutely.
how can I be more confident? How can I look? What are answers to these assignments, and work your way through them? I'm not saying copy, but there is a lot that you can learn along the way. In the break that I had, it was not a very long break. I think it was 14 months. I applied to close to 150 jobs. Okay. And 149 jobs, I got rejections or no replies from. That is not something easy to deal with, right? But what you have to do is you have to keep going, find work, right? Work to me is not just about earning a salary, but it's also my identity for me, right? It's my independence. It's what I want to be known for.
Very
Uh,
well said. Very well said.
So it gives me independence, it gives me financial stability, it gives me more confidence, and it keeps me more current. At least I know what's happening outside my home and outside my kitty party friend circle. You know what I'm saying? That it keeps you current, it keeps you more intellectual, and it keeps you active. And you need to get this brain active. Otherwise, you'll just go into a zone where you'll get too comfortable, and it'll be very difficult to get out of that shell. So this pivot was not easy and seamless. I had to juggle, I had to do a lot of trial and error. I had to apply to 150 jobs, which each job I had to sit and write a different covering letter, so on and so forth. And but then I landed up this interview with IIT Madras Alumni Association. It was also the most grueling interview. I had 5 rounds. Okay, and all 5 rounds, I was so intimidated because all 5 rounds were with alumni of IIT Madras who had made it in life. Right? So it was not so easy, but I landed the job. So I guess it was my experience of applying to these 150 jobs that helped me to finally get through these 5 rounds.
It's like, people just, you are in this position, and it's very important for everyone to know that was not simple. It was not easy, right? And it is like you said, you keep gathering uh, experience and knowledge through this 150 failed 149 failed interviews, right? You are already learning at every stage. You're learning something new, and that is actually what has actually got you the 150th job, I'm guessing. And the biggest takeaway for me also is that your effort to do that masters without even knowing that this is where you might actually be landing, you did that masters, and that must have really added to the position that you are in. I think this is very important. And you said it was just 14 months, 14 to 18 months, and just look at how much effort you had to put to come back in that.
Yes,
Just Yeah, we
yes.
have people who have taken career breaks of anywhere between 2 years to 15 years, right? So that you have to prepare yourself, and that you have to restart, and is something all of us have to remember every time we decide to take a break.
Yeah. No, let me tell you that nowadays this break is is changing, especially with this pre-COVID and post-COVID, and with COVID, everything just changed. Work
Changed.
dynamics changed, professionalism changed. This hybrid working came into play. which you can actually use it as a very strong tool.
Absolutely.
Not today, if you actually prove your value to your company and do things right, it's a great tool. But this work break, you have to also keep yourself current in that break, because if you just let go completely, right, it is challenging. I'm not saying it's not, but you have the power to overcome it.
Yeah, exactly. You can take break, but make the break meaningful for you when you want to come back. Don't
Absolutely.
just let go. Don't drop the ball, is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
absolutely. Yes.
I mean, a very interesting observation for all the women here. My next question is Nishani, you are a woman leader in a space which is male dominated, IIT Madras. I'm sure a large percentage of your membership, are men, right? Even though today we see a lot of women in engineering and all that, but I think IIT Madras still has predominantly, even today, I think of admission are boys. So obviously your alumni must be, and since it is alumni, I mean, like it starts from maybe 30, 40 years back. So predominantly men, right? So are you facing any challenge, as a woman? And if yes, how are you overcoming them? And, how do you approach?
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. So I think, let me tell you first, IIT Madras Alumni Association caters right from the year 1965.
wow.
So that's 60
60 years
years.
back. Yeah.
So I have members who are from the batch of 1965 till 2023. And yes,
Wow.
you are right. It is a male dominated space. There are a lot of women in the ecosystem as well, but it is mostly, I deal with a lot of men on a day to day basis. And even that, I'm going to say, with the mindsets that men have today, some things have changed, right? They do respect women and diversity in a workplace. So a lot of it comes from there as well. But I also feel judged many times. As a young woman in this field, coming from a background of fashion design into dealing with engineers of IIT Madras. But I think in the beginning it took me some time, Rani. It was I had to really put myself out there as a professional person. I had to prove what value I can bring to this job. And with that break that I had of 14 months, I was even stronger. I had a stronger will to prove myself here, right? As soon as I landed the job, in about 25 days, I had my first board meeting. I was petrified, right? I was petrified, but the board was kind enough. They made sure that I feel comfortable in this role. And I think things have changed, Rani. It is even though it is a male dominated society, we need to not keep that in our minds. I think we need to be really confident about ourselves. And if we don't know anything, we should be ready to learn that skill, or that project. And it's not it is something that we have to go through as women here today. It is We just have to go with it. We have to go with a mindset that we are confident women. Women are taken seriously nowadays. Things have changed from 25, 30 years ago. And if it has not changed, then you need to tell them to change.
Very well said. I have been asked this question many times because I was in manufacturing. I mean, I said, when I was working, I never thought of my gender as something. I said he's a human being, I'm a human being, and I'm just getting on with it. So, like you said, it's how we think about it and how we project ourselves is how somebody else who's looking at you is also going to connect with you, right? So that confidence that you are portraying is, I'm sure, adding a lot of value and people take you seriously. I'm actually very, very surprised now that you're telling me from 1965 you have members, that they have decided to take a young woman to be their executive director itself says something about how much things have changed, is it
Yeah,
not? So
absolutely.
I think we have to give the credit where it is due.
Yeah,
So they were open to something new, something vibrant, and who brings a completely different picture to the table. And so they are open to it, and
yes.
it's great. And you are doing that, right? I'm sure you are. It is like an out of the box thinking is what you will bring in, because you are not an engineer, you are not this very experienced male who has these set ideas, right? You are a fashion designer who has now become an educationist. I mean, rather management into education, and it's great. I mean, it's a fantastic combination, is what I think. It's a win-win.
I hope.
So yeah, of course it is. I can see how vibrant your association is doing, and a lot of things that you guys do. And I also need to share here about the kind of good work that we are doing together. See, it has added lot of value to us, because you are able to bring that perspective of women in STEM, women in leadership, getting women back to work. You are able to connect to it so much better. Not that the others cannot, but you know what I mean. You can connect to it because it is relatable for you, right? So
Yeah.
this actually adds value to the organization as well, that aspect that you're bringing in, right?
I also want to add something here, Rani. It is always as soon as I landed this job, I happened to meet very strong women leaders as well in IIT
Okay.
Madras, right?
Hmm.
Two are in the executive in the to meet professors of IIT Madras, and they are very well known and very professional who have made a mark for themselves, and these women are fabulous, right?
Wow.
So I think I look up to them and learn from them how they also behave in this male dominated society.
I'll be really happy if you can share your experience with indePenn, and what do you think about our vision to bring, gender parity at workplace through bringing, women on career break back to work. What are your thoughts?
I'll tell you. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a big believer in sustainability. And I think what independence doing is exactly with one of the sustainable goals, development goals that the UN has brought out a couple of years ago, right? So, any organization for me which is doing work in the sustainable development goals is already a win, right? And for me to be able to collaborate and network with an organization like yours completely adds value to IIT Ma, to my members as well. Right? Because we are very focused on bringing in sustainable practices and even in community building today. Let's talk about green power and hydrogen and this and that and separately, but also building community diversion, inclusion and diversity in a workplace, education. All of that is also important, right? So I
Absolutely.
think, yeah, working with indePenn has been fabulous. I think you are a small startup when we started off, and I got to know you last couple of years ago. And I think the way you have grown organically is great, right? Focusing on, I think you have your areas very clear, Rani. This is what I think many other organizations don't have. To be able to focus and to be a very, very, because you could be into manufacturing, but today if you do a digital marketing course, you're landing a job for digital marketing in manufacturing space, right? So I think what you and Rajani are focusing on to become ongoing learners, to keep doing these courses on your career break, is so important. Work is dynamic. I think you and Rajani understand the proposition of work nowadays very well, and I'm so happy for your the women who have signed up with you, because I am sure that indePenn is going to be able to do wonders for them.
Thank you so much. We are both, Rajni and I, am very excited about what we are doing. And when you're talking about learning, right? Rajni, who's a complete technology person, who spent most of her years in TCS being a business leader, she has signed up for a course on digital marketing,
Oh,
trying to
really?
understand how to how to reach out to our target women, and how to be there. So like you said, learning is a lifelong process. So I think I'm going to restrict myself to questions, and I'm going to open it out to the audience. And let us yeah, we already have some questions. So the first question has come from Jayalakshmi Kalyana Sundaram. Her question is, hi, thanks so much for the question, Jayalakshmi. How did you work on your confidence level in the new role?
Thank you, Jayalakshmi, for your question. Looking back at month one, I feel I was not confident, right? I was happy but I was also very scared because I've landed this job in this big ecosystem where I know actually nothing about, right? But let me tell you, the management was very kind give me time to settle into my new role, right? And I think that's very important for us women, that every role, every job, be it man or woman today, really, you need that time to settle into a role. I think, the management has to be able to give you those couple of weeks for you to adjust, for you to understand everything about the organization, right? And I think how I built confidence was based on my actions. When I was able to bring action to my projects, when I was able to deliver as Alumni Association, is when I started to understand, okay, I'm doing something right. And that's how I built my confidence, right? But having said this, I didn't show my underconfidence out, right? I was patient, I was imbibing, I was learning, I was asking questions, I was checking on doing a lot of trial and errors. Let me tell you a secret. It took me 3 days to write one email once in this role, right? Because there was no chat GPT 2 years ago. Today we have chat GPT, right? But this is I was writing an email to a very big, I was so scared that maybe my email was not right. But I from there to now being able to write emails to anybody over my phone is a journey. It takes time.
Very well said. And I mean, we don't come with all the confidence, on hand. We develop it over a period of time, and it's okay to be not confident to start with, right?
Yes, it's
So,
okay.
yeah, thank you so much for the answer. The next question is coming from Jainendra. His question is, what advice do you have for women who want to work in a male-dominated field?
We all deal with men even in our personal lives.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's not separate the men in our personal lives to the men in our professional lives. Okay. Men are men, women are women. Men have a lot of strong points, women have a lot of strong points too, right? I
Yeah.
think men and women need to balance out each other in this equity. So when someone tells me, let's do an all women marathon, I'm like, no, we exist in a society together.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this? That's not fair. You have to face men every day, right? So I think my advice would be is be patient, be a learner, be polite, and let your actions prove yourself, right? In
Perfect.
the beginning, your actions need to prove. um, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus is a great book, right? I think all women need to read that.
Yeah.
Work our way, we may get along with the men, we may not get along with the men. But the point is, you're in a role to do a certain job, a certain set of responsibilities. Do those with accountability and integrity. things will fall into place. You will be respected at the end of the day after a few weeks, after a few months. And like I said before, if you are not, then you need to ask for it, and you need to find the right place for you and do it
to understand the people whom you're dealing with. It is most of the time, their perspective may be different, because of which, we think that we are, they're not able to understand me, or they're not respecting me. It possibly comes more from a place of not understanding and not wanting to respect, right?
yes.
So it is also important. It's like anywhere else, right? When you're working somewhere, whether your teammate is a male or a female, it's important to understand them. When you're working with them, it's important to understand your team. If you are a team leader, you have to understand each and every member, so you are able to function, more effectively. It's similar, I guess, like between a male and a female. There is the approach itself can be very different, right? Like you said, Venus and Mars. We have to understand that difference.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So the next question is from Divya, and her question is, what does your work give you over and above financial independence?
I think financial independence is very important to me, but I will also tell you what more it gives me. I have a sense of satisfaction that I'm doing something with my life. I'm doing something productive with my life. I'm adding value to the life of others, right? Now, there is a big debate about working for a company or being an entrepreneur and things like that, right? Let's leave all of that aside, right? I am adding value to this organization. I'm building value for myself, doing the
Yeah.
same thing, right? I
Yeah.
get to network and meet people. I think human beings are all social animals, and this is it keeps me a check. It keeps me intellectual, as I said. I know what's happening in the world. Um, these are very important. Um, these are very important elements in one's life, right? It's not only about the money,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whatever it is, I'm not saying that if you are a homemaker, you are not respected or you're not adding value. You are adding immense value, right? But is that what you want to do? Correct? If you
Yeah.
want to do that, then it's absolutely fine. If you are very passionate about that, then that's absolutely fine. So I think by working and by being in a job and being a professional, I'm adding a lot of value to my life. I'm bringing I'm making impact in the areas of my role, and that gives me a big high. It keeps me happy. It keeps me confident. Gives me some strength to deal with also my personal situations. There's a lot of learning from each other, right?
Yeah.
What I am a strong believer is of your personal life and your professional life, your social life. It should all be one, right? You should be able to be this confident, bubbly person in work with your friends and even at home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
True.
should be able to take decisions how you take at home, at work as well,
Yeah.
right? So this gives it's a big ecosystem that plays a lot on how you see yourself as well.
Exactly. I mean, you cannot compartmentalize them and, have different kind of approach to different things. If you are able to bring that approach to the overall ecosystem where you are existing, I think you would. I would also like to add here that one of our members who came in and said she wanted to get back to work said, why I want to get back to work is because when somebody asked my 3-year-old daughter, what does your father do and what your mom does? She said, my father goes to work and my mom works in the kitchen. So she said, I did not want my daughter to go something very important beyond, money. Many women do not come back to work after the break because they think I'm financially comfortable. My husband is earning well. Why should I, do this? But many times it's not just money alone, right? In fact, money may be a byproduct, is sometimes what I think. The intangible is the knowledge you gain, right?
You know,
um,
money is actually very important. You know, when you
yeah,
earn your own money, you're so free
yeah,
to spend how you like. You know, instead of using your
absolutely,
father's money, your husband's money. You know,
for sure.
yeah, and when you be able to save your money, you can compound your money. You know, you grow as a it's a very important as well. So it should be considered as one of the key factors for you to
To be
continue.
considered.
Absolutely.
Reminding me of her, she said, from a very young age, I had decided that when I grow up, I should build my own house.
Wow.
So she's asking, when you write down your list, right? Sometimes when you are um, overwhelmed of, how do I do this? How do I manage? Quite some of us, think that, okay, what do
Just me and my husband at home, and there are lots of things that need to be done, and sometimes I just sit like this, okay, but that's just 5 minutes. Over that, I cannot afford to do this. I have a team to run, I have a house to run, right? So I quickly make lists. I'm a big to do list person, right? I'm very clear with a pen and paper because I love writing and I love my colored pens. And my professional list that I need my team to work on, I use technology. Okay. I think Durga's question is also, how do I decide what to tackle first?
Yeah,
Right?
see, actually, this question has come from the video that we posted
Right, right.
Instagram,
Okay.
where you speak about, how you handle your multiple priorities, where you speak about, writing down
Yeah.
things and all that.
So very clearly in the list that I have boxes, Rani. I have a urgent box and I have a priority box, and I said not urgent, not priority. Right? So not urgent, not priority. I delegate to either my staff at home or my husband or to my mother or anything like that. Okay. But what is priority and what is urgent, I get to that first.
Hmm.
Okay. And when you finish, when I have that tick box on priority and urgent, I feel a sense of accomplishment. Right? So the same thing I do even for my workplace as well. So I have priority, urgent, I have high impact, low cost, or high cost, you know, all sort of tables that we work with, which I'm focused on, and I delegate to my team as well. And some things I can only do myself, which I have to then, it's first I delegate, next I sit, work on each list, each thing on my priority list, and get things done. Well, today's world is so dynamic, there is no time to be lazy.
I know,
I
I
wish
know.
I was actually more active, but I'm saying that don't waste your time watching TV or being lazy. Just be action focused. That's
Do
it.
it. Just do
Just,
it.
just do it. Really, it's
In fact, between Rajni and I, when we are working, so we make this to do list, right? And then it's between Rajni and Rajni. I want to put the tick mark in that. The happiness you get when you check, in the box is like, oh my God, we have done this. Yeah, I agree with you that you really feel that you have accomplished something, you have achieved something, right? When you, even if it's a small thing that you have achieved, when you put a tick box, it feels good.
yeah. And
Okay, the next,
delegation. We all
yeah,
live in a
delegation
society,
is
right?
important.
Why
Absolutely.
are we overburdening ourselves?
True,
Right?
true.
Delegate to your husband. No problem. Let
Yes,
him also contribute to the house, right?
absolutely. Shared
So of
responsibilities.
course, definitely. It has to be, it's not easy, but you
Yeah,
can start to put it in place.
yeah,
You know,
you can get
delegate
it
one.
started.
Yes, absolutely.
So Sindhu has a question. She asks, "Hello, how do you work on improving focus towards self-improvement?"
Thank you for this question. Improvement. As I told you, it came with me from the job that I landed where I had to start to be an ongoing learner. I
Hmm.
start to understand where I'm lagging and start really working on many soft skills that, I feel that I need to develop. Self improvement, holistic well being is very important to me. There are a lot of philosophies in this world. There are a lot of things that I can find it for free. If you cannot, please email me. I will find it for you.
Oh, so sweet, so nice.
Okay. It is all available for free or at a minimal cost. Trust me. I hope I
Thanks.
answered your question, Divya.
I
No,
think
sorry,
so. You
Sindhu.
really, Sindhu. Yes, it was from Sindhu. The next question I would ask, I think we have quite a number of questions. I'm going to quickly minutes left. So Vidya Shri is feeling a little sad. I think she's saying, however much we provide our confidence level, why the society is not accepting it, is her question.
Hi, Vidya Shri. How do you know society is not accepting it, right? It's our perspective. I think we're women so bothered about society, right? Whom we marry, what we study, what we wear, what we do, how we.
So this question is from Isha. She's one of our very successful members who never thought she'll ever get back to work. Today, she's a very successful professional. We are very proud of her. So her question is, hi, Miss Nishani. Everyone faces a pressure at work at some point of time at work, and especially in a role like yours. How do you handle it?
Sometimes I handle it very sensitive. It's very sensitive suddenly, right? It's so over. Sometimes I cry to myself, but I'm also an action based person. So I just have to get up and go. With work like mine, everything comes together at that same week. Suddenly, 24 hours is never enough in a day.
Not enough. Yeah,
Gone are the days where you can work for 8 hours, Rani. That
I know.
just doesn't exist. Jobs are very dynamic, Rani. I have calls with the US, I have calls with Australia, the UK. Even in the US, there is PST time, EDT time. I've taken calls at 6 a.m. Same day, I'll have a call even at 9:30 p.m. Right? But we just have to keep going. I think we have to build resilience. And let me tell you, resilience is an inborn factor within every Indian. Okay.
There are many more questions. So can I share these questions with you and can I get your answers and share it with them? And surely I promise everybody that I will, get your questions answered by Nishani and share it with you in some form or the other. So my last question is from Rajni, who's saying you work with a lot of people in an educational institution, isn't it? So how important do you think is grooming?
Well, coming from the fashion background, I'm a strong believer of grooming. But I think all of us women, we put a little lipstick and we feel very confident already, right? I believe that everyone should be well groomed, not only women but also men these days.
And
Okay, there is it brings out a professional ethic about you to be well presentable, right? I can go into meetings like with my hair like that and wearing, something which is not business appropriate, but still do my work well. But I think if you want to be taken seriously, I think to groom to a mid level is absolutely necessary. Having said that, right, I think India has reached a place where we're in the global level, right? We're with the world now. There is no India, as I mean, even though it's a third world country, but we're getting there, right? So I think also not over grooming yourself,
good
right?
one.
Right, yeah, because I feel like what we wear to our weddings and what we wear to our social get-togethers sometimes is not professionally ethical to wear to a business surrounding, right? So
Right.
lots of courses on how to groom yourself professionally available as well. I'm happy to do a course for indePenn on that as well.
Oh,
But
nice.
grooming yourself is very, very important. Basic stuff. We don't have to all go get done facials and get a whole new wardrobe, but it is important. I mean, that's you're a working professional, you have that financial independence to spend your money on a decent set of workwear, basic makeup, spend a little on yourself, you'll feel better, and that'll add to your confidence. It'll also help others take you seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. It is all about presenting yourself uh, pleasantly, presenting yourself well.
Yes,
So like it's how you like to see something that looks nice, and 55% of the impression is formed based on how you look, how
yes,
you how your body language is, even without you know handling stress. You were very real about, yes, I cry when when I'm stressed, and all of us do, and it's okay to cry is something all of us need to accept, right? So those kind of things really added value. Thank you so much, Nishani, and hope to connect with you soon. I'm sure we are going to get more requests to connect with you. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
thank you so much. And I hope I could add value to someone's life, and I hope you just keep moving, get going, and just make the action happen. All the best to everybody. Have a great
Thanks.
weekend. Thank you so much. I know I'm
Thanks,
going to have a great
everybody.
weekend because this went wonderful.